I want you all to see this quickly. Thank you, Pastor. There's a lady, Shanaz Ross. She says, Ombiza, you must stop protecting Gayton.
Sure.
We realized you only talk good of Gayton when you are drunk. When you are sober, you don't say anything. I think you also got full of Gayton talking shit. I really think you better than this. Now, Shanaz, ga vir jou iets wys. Jy moet nou mooi kyk van as jy die mis. As jy die mis, né? Dan is jy getoer. As jy die mis, ek gaan dit nou vir jou wys met alle liefde. Kyk my mooi. Kyk my mooi. Laat ek net gou nog 'n bietjie safe maak net gou die ek het julle mos gesê. As ek water drink, dan verander dit in wyn. Kyk hierso.
Water.
Weer is nou lekker. En nou sê ek nou meer geseep. Ek is geseep tot in my binneste. Ek wil my tong wel eens beweeg. Nou watch nou die, kyk baie mooi. Jy moet, Shanaz is jy daar? Is jy daar? Mevrou Ross. Ek hoop jy is daar, mevrou Ross, because ek gaan nou vir jou iets wys. I only talk good about Gayton when I'm drunk. When I'm drunk, I only talk good about Gayton, but when I'm sober, then I don't talk good about him. Watch and learn. Is jy reg? Shanaz van Ross. Shanaz van Ross. Can I speak to you about who I really think Gayton McKenzie is? Did you just see the picture? I hope you actually saw in real time. En ek ken nou jy seker nou so gesok. The red block in the center, in the corner, is still there, it's still live. Unedited.
Yeah.
Unfiltered. I come from a place called Kliptown. Poverty-stricken community. Raised in Klipspruit and Eldorado Park. Completed school, started studying an LLB, law degree. But because I listened to one lecture that made me understand that the law is not about what's right, it's about what's legal. I wanted to fight for what's right.
Sure.
So when I understood that not everything legal is right, and not everything illegal is wrong, and I'm going to train for close to 7 years, not to fight for what's right, but to fight for what's legal, I decided to drop out. Because I was looking for something that I can do to stand up for what is right, and I chose the church. I then changed my program from LLB to theology. I graduated in the top 10 of my class. I wrote a thesis called A Gang Without Gangsters. And I got an award for it. I challenged the institution of Christianity in my thesis. I was unaccepted in church circles because of my reasoning and how I unpack my sermons. As a result, when the opportunity arose and a lie was spread about me on social media that I slept with a worship team leader, and then I lost everything. I ended up in the backyard, in the back of my mother's yard, in a back room. To look after my kids, I had to sell t-shirts out of the boot of my car. I had nothing. And when I was about to get up, God told me that 9 kids out of Eldorado Park must go to Washington, D.C. And in the middle of winter, I slept in the street to raise money for 9 children out of Eldorado Park to go to Washington, D.C. And they did, when I had no cent. when I lost everything. Then God gave me a concept called Ombiza, Funny Park. It went viral. I then went into stand-up comedy. I was able to look after my family. But I didn't know. What God was actually doing is God was using the character of Ombiza to serve as a bridge from church into politics. I met Gayton McKenzie as Ombiza 4 years ago. Gayton McKenzie looked at me and Gayton McKenzie said to me, there's something in you that the world rejects and does not appreciate. But I see it, and sometimes gifts only needs a platform. Yes. He says, I can see you gifted, but I'm going to give you the platform to live out your gift. Beautiful. I had 2 questions for him and every other politician that approached me to join their parties. I asked them 2 questions. What is your program for colored people? And what's my role in that program? None of them could answer me. Gayton McKenzie answered me in 5 minutes. And after listening to him, I realized he did not sell a dream to me and I bought into it. I realized that he showed me a dream that looks exactly like mine. Sure. And I took my talents, my gifts, and everything I have to stand beside him and push for this dream and this vision to transform our country. It's 4 years later and I have not turned back. And why I celebrate Gayton McKenzie is because every single thing he said he's going to do, he did. In 4 years, I went. There is no public political office that I did not hold. A boy from Kliptown. And now I'm going to finish. But I just want to be sober and talk good about Gayton McKenzie. Because of that man, when no one gave me opportunity, when I needed to do stand-up comedy to feed my children, that man saw something in me. He walked with me. He mentored me in politics, day in and day out for a full year. We were on the road together every day. I saw that man's heart. I saw how people's lives was changed across the country. So when I talk about Gayton McKenzie, make no mistake, I'm not sucking it out of my thumb. I saw it with my own eyes. In 3 years, in 4 years, I went from a normal councillor to a Section 79 chairperson of finance in the city of Johannesburg, providing oversight over an annual budget of 79.9 billion rand. Secondly, I became the MMC of Health and Social Development, responsible for the health and social development of 6 million people. A boy from Kliptown, because of Gayton McKenzie. I then became the MMC of Transport, responsible for a 14,000 lane kilometer of road network in the biggest metro in Africa. If that wasn't enough, I then became the acting executive mayor of the city of Johannesburg. And then I became the executive mayor of Beaufort West Municipality. Now, Shanaz, that was because of Gayton McKenzie. And today, I've been the provincial premier candidate, the deputy chairperson of the province Western Cape. And now, I'm the national presidential campaign manager. When everybody saw nothing, Gayton McKenzie saw something. And if you don't believe that, dat ek net een ding om vir jou te sê. Net een ding. As jy nie daai glo nie, dan het ek net een ding om vir jou te sê. Check! Goodbye.